Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jacqui and today we're working on strengthening and lengthening the back and getting into some juicy back bends as well. We'll be working not only on the chest and the back, but also opening up to the sides of the body and the hips. All this is going to help us find that really nice, deep and strong back bend position. So get yourself set up and we'll get right into it. Let's start in a cross-legged position on the mat, just with some shoulder rolls. So first of all, take a deep breath in and reach the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Deep breath out, drop them down your back. And then forward, all the way up to the ears, back and down. Taking these shoulder rolls as big as you can, just to warm up in this area, first of all. And then let's go the other way. Shoulders back, up, forward, and down. And then let's bring fingertips to the shoulders, elbows out to the side, drawing big circles with the elbows, as big as you can, finding your full range of motion. And while you're doing this, trying not to let the ribs stick out, especially when you bring your elbows to the back. And then the other way. And then releasing the hands, let's bring them into cactus, 90 degrees on either side. Try to extend the elbows to opposite ends of your mat. And as you breathe out, keeping them extended as far away from you, bring them together in front of you. And really squeeze something together in between your hands, something imaginary. Breathe in, open up. Breathe out, squeezing. So there's kind of a bit of pressure as you're bringing them together. Breathe in, release. Breathe out. Squeeze the elbows together. Find a nice stretch in the backs of the shoulders. Breathe in, open up. One more time, breathe out, squeeze. And breathe in, open up. Release the arms, shake them out to the side. And then take a deep inhale and reach the arms up to the sky. Interlace the fingers and then turn the palms to face upwards. Breathe in, see if you can sit up even taller. And then breathing out, keeping this length, keep pressing the palms up to the sky. Bend over to the right side. Try to keep the left side still grounded into the mat. You don't have to go very far. Just come as far as you can still hold everything together. Breathe in, reach back up. Breathe out over to the left side. And also try to keep your shoulders opening up, so it's like you're almost leaning backwards. Breathe in, reach up. One more time each side, breathing out to the right. Breathing in, back to center, reach up. Breathing out to the left. And breathe in back to center. Release the hands down, take the right hand out to the side. Breathe in, reach the left arm up. We'll come into a little bit of a deeper bend this time. You can walk your right fingertips out to the side and then bend all the way over. Your elbows may touch the mat or they may not. That's totally fine. Try to keep opening and spiraling the chest up towards the sky. Turn your head upwards or you can bring it down towards your right hand. Breathe in. Let's come back to center. Left hand comes onto the mat. Right arm reaches up. Breathe out. Walk your fingertips out. Bend over to the left. Open through the chest. Find a stretch through the right side of the body. And breathing in, back to the center. Let's come onto all fours. So bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Let's come into some cat and cow. Breathing in, let's release the belly down. Reach the tailbone high and then look forward. Breathing out, start to scoop in through the belly, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, press the floor away, press the shoulder blades up to the sky as much as you can. Breathing in, dropping the belly back down, opening up through the chest, lifting tailbone and head high. Breathing out, rounding through the spine. Now move with your own breath in your own time, trying to find the full range of motion in your spine. Really dropping the belly low, opening up through the chest. And in your cat pose, really pressing the shoulder blades up to the sky. Let's do one more round. And on the next breath, let's come back to a neutral spine, and we'll come all the way onto our belly. Coming into a Sphinx pose, let's bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, fingers spread wide and hands to the top corners of your mat. Tops of the feet are pressed down, and let's lift the kneecaps off as well. And then take a deep breath in, press the floor away with your forearms, look forward, and then pull your hands and your forearms towards your body, and you should feel an extra stretch through your chest, and as if your chest was coming through and pressing forward to the top of your mat. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears, kneecaps lifted off the mat. 1 more breath. Pull your hands towards your body. And then release all the way down. Let's come into a child's pose. Press yourself back. Bring the knees wide, feet together, and then sit all the way down on the heels of your feet, walking the hands forward and dropping your forehead to the mat. Take a couple of breaths here. Sink down your hips towards the heels of your feet. Melt your chest into the mat. On the next breath, lift the head back up. Let's come back to all fours. And we'll just warm up a little bit more through the shoulders. So again, with the wrists underneath shoulders and knees underneath the hips, let's first of all start to sink our shoulders down into our arms. And you'll find that this is not a very strong or stable position. So this is not usually somewhere where we want to be. So then the other end of the spectrum, press your hands into the mat, press the shoulder blades up to the sky. So trying to find that almost rounded spine at the shoulder blade area. And then release all the way down. And then press them all the way up. Try to isolate the movement just in your shoulders. One more time. And then coming back to neutral spine. Walk the hands forward and we'll come into our puppy pose. Drop the forehead to the mat. And think about melting your chest down into the mat. You might find you need to rock back a little bit or come forward a little bit just to find the most comfortable position for you. Once you're there, try to reach your fingertips away from you and towards the top of the mat. Find a bit more length through the sides of your body, through your spine, your neck, and your chest. One more breath. On the next breath, let's lift the head slightly up And then just shuffle yourself all the way back into a closed-legged child's pose. So knees are together, we're sitting on the heels of the feet, and then bring your body over your thighs, forehead on the mat. Arms come around the legs with the palms facing up to the sky. And then drop your shoulders down. Release them down to the earth. And on the next breath, let's come all the way back up to all fours. And we'll tuck the toes and then come into our downward facing dog, lifting the hips up high. Just take a moment here to walk the legs out. Release through the backs of the legs. And then same action with the arms pressing the floor away. Shoulders will come up to your ears. Let's come into a bit of stillness now. Bend the knees slightly if you need to, and you want to think about tilting tailbone up to the sky. Another way to think about it is pointing your sit bones to the back of the mat. Take one more breath here. And on the next breath, let's bend the knees, look towards your hands, and then take tiny steps with the feet all the way up to your hands. Feet come to hip width distance apart, and we'll hold on to opposite elbows, taking a ragdoll here. So knees are still bent, and the upper body is completely loose, and you can sway from side to side. Release a bit more tension in the backs of your legs and your lower back. Let your head hang heavy. And then releasing the arms down. Let's take the hands behind, interlace the fingers, straighten the arms, and then let the hands and the arms fall down towards the mat. Nice shoulder stretch here. And then releasing the hands all the way down. Soften through the knees. Slowly roll yourself up, letting the upper body hang until the very last moment. And then when we made it up to the top, let's step the big toes together. Heels are slightly apart. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up to the sky. Hold on to your left wrist and just bend over to the right side. Press down firmly with your left foot into the mat. Breathing in, coming back to center. Arms come wide, soften the knees, and we'll dive forward. So imagine there was a piece of string connected to your chest and someone was pulling you down from the chest. So you're finding a nice flat back as you come forward. Hands come down to the mat, knees bend. Deep breath in, lift up halfway to your flat back. Hands can draw up your shins. Roll the shoulders back. Point your sit bones to the back of the mat. And then breathing out, hands come down. Step the right foot back and then the left, high plank. Let's lower the knees to the mat and then lower the body all the way down. Elbows stay glued to the sides of the body. Everything arrives together. Untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, lift the kneecaps off. Breathe in, roll the shoulders back, lift the head and the chest off the mat. Now try and keep your fingertips light on the mat or even remove them so that you can try and use the muscles in your back to lift yourself up. Hands come back down, press yourself back, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up high. One breath here. Press the floor away. And then bend the knees, look towards your hands. Step your feet in between your hands, big toes together. Breathing in, lift up halfway, flat back. Hands come to your shins if they need. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, circle the arms to the sides and then all the way up, lengthen and reach upwards. Breathing out, hands come to your heart center. Breathe in, reach the arms up. Hold on to your right wrist this time. Lengthen upwards and then breathe out. Bend over to the left side. Press the right foot down into the mat. Breathe in, come back to center, arms spread wide, soften through the knees, and then lead forward with your chest, coming down into your forward fold. Breathing in, lift up halfway, flat back, hands come to the shins, knees stay nice and soft. Breathing out, hands come to the mat, step the left foot back, and then the right into your high plank. Bring the knees down to the mat, and then lower everything down with the elbows glued to the sides of the body. Everything arrives together. Breathing in, untuck the toes, lift the kneecaps off, lengthen forward with the head, and then reach up, light on the fingertips, or release the hands altogether. Breathing out, hands come back down, press back, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up high. One breath. Try and find your nice straight and long spine here by tilting the tailbone up to the sky. And then bend the knees, look towards your hands. Step your feet in between your hands. Breathing in, lift up halfway, flat back, roll the shoulders back. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, circle the arms up to the sky, lengthen and reach upwards. And breathing out, hands to heart center. Breathing in, reach the arms up. Breathing out, fold forward. This time we soften the knees and the hands come down through your heart center as we come all the way down. Breathe in, lift up halfway, flat back. Maybe you're feeling warm enough to keep your hands down on the mat, or maybe you still bring them to the shins. Either way is totally fine. Breathe out, hands on the mat, step right foot back and then left foot, high plank. Let's lower the knees down again and then lower the body all the way down. Breathing in, untuck the toes, lengthen forward and up, baby cobra again. Using the muscles in your back, lift the hands off. Breathing out, downward facing dog. Lift the hips up high. On the next breath, we'll float the right leg up to the sky in a three-legged dog. And then breathing out, bring the right knee into the chest, and then place the foot in between the hands. Lower your back knee and then untuck the toes, and then we'll just shift the weight all the way up towards the back leg. Hands can come to your hips, and it's a good way just to check how your hips are, if they're one lifted above the other or one in front of the other. We want to keep them nice and square, so that means bringing the hips in line and on the same level, so your hip bones are pointing directly to the top of your mat. Now once we're here, take notice if you've let your hips go and your lower back go. We don't want to dump into the lower back. We want to engage the core and pull up, so we're feeling like we're pulling the pelvis up towards our chest, and that will help us to lengthen down the tailbone and also find more stretch in the front left hip flexor. This is all going to help us later on with our back bends. So keeping this position, feeling this stretch in the left hip flexor. If you feel ready for it, you might place your hands on your thighs. You may even shift forward, maybe even shifting that front leg forward if you need to. But keep that scooping action of the pelvis. Let's stay here for one more breath. And then let's lower the hands to the mat. Tuck the left toes. Step back into your downward facing dog. Bend the knees. Look towards your hands. Step your feet in between your hands. Breathing in, lift up halfway, flat back. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, reach the arms up to the sky. And breathing out, hands to your heart center. One last time. Breathing in, reach the arms up. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathing in, lift up halfway, flat back. Breathing out, hands on the mat. Step left foot back and then right high plank. Let's lower the knees down to the mat and then lower the body all the way down. Try to control it even at the very last moment. Breathing in, untuck the toes. Press yourself forward and up. Fingertips light or off the mat. Breathing out, step back into your downward facing dog. On the next breath, float the left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. And then breathing out, bring the left knee into the chest. Place the foot in between the hands. Lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and then we'll shift the weight back again and try and find that same alignment with our hips. So hip bones pointing to the top of the mat, in line and on the same level. And then slight scooping of the pelvis to lengthen down through the tailbone and lengthen through the lower back. And then from here, maybe the hands come to the thighs. Maybe we shift our weight forward, keeping that same scooping action. So you always want to feel that same position, and it's really going to give you a nice stretch on that hip flexor. So one more breath here. And then hands come down to the mat. Tuck the right toes, step back, downward facing dog. Hold here for 2 breaths. Bend the knees slightly. Lengthen through the spine. Press the floor away with your hands. And on the next breath, we're coming back into our high plank. Shift your weight forward over your hands. Tuck the pelvis under slightly. So same action as we had in our low lunge. And then with the shoulders, remember, we don't want to sink down. We want to press them up to the sky like we did on all fours earlier. Lower the knees to the mat. Again, we'll lower everything down at the same time. Everything arriving together. Untuck the toes. Let's place the hands underneath the forehead. I want to take a moment here. So press the tops of the feet into the mat and then lift the kneecaps off. So we're engaging through the legs. And then tilt your pelvis under. So again, we find that lengthening of the tailbone and the lower back. So we're really pressing the pubic bone into the mat. And then we can release our hands to the sides, forehead on the mat. Take a breath in, reach forward. So reach forward to the top of the mat with the crown of your head, and then lift up. Breathing in, release the hands off the mat, palms facing down to the mat and fingers spread wide. Roll the shoulders back and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep pressing your pubic bone into the mat, and then breathe out, relax. Relax the knees as well. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in, press the tops of the feet into the mat, lift the kneecaps off, tilt your pelvis down, reach forward, and then lift up. See if you can find a little bit more height this time. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. And breathing out, release all the way down. Nice job. Let's do 1 more time here. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, lift the kneecaps off, tilt the pelvis so that your core engages also. Breathing in, reach forward, and then lifting up. Arms come to either side, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Holding for 5, 4. Keep breathing, 3. Lift a bit higher. 2. Keep engaging through the legs. 1. Okay, we're not coming down just yet. Try to reach your arms up in front of you. If you fall down a little bit, that's fine. Let's hold for another 5, 4. Keep breathing. 3, 2. Tilt your pelvis down. And 1. Release all the way down. Nice job. Hands can come underneath the forehead. Just take a moment here to rest. Maybe shift your hips from side to side. All right, let's come into a bow pose. We're going to do 2 of these. So let's bring the forehead back down to the mat. Bend the knees. Hold on to the inside of both feet, just grabbing whatever you can. It might be the tops of your feet, or you might reach all the way down to your ankles. So again, tilt the pelvis down. You'll find that you get that nice stretch of the hip flexors and the quads. Breathing in, lengthen forward with the forehead. And then lift the head and the chest up. Kick your feet into your hands. And then lift the thighs off the mat. Holding for 5, 4, keep breathing. 3, lift the feet up to the sky. 2, and 1. Release all the way down. Really nice job. You can let go of the feet, maybe place the hands back underneath the forehead just for a breath. We have one more coming up. All right, if you're ready, let's go into it. Bend the knees, holding on to whatever you can grab onto. Taking a deep breath in to kick the feet into the hands, lengthen forward with the head, and then lift up. Thighs come off the mat. Holding for 5, 4, reach the feet up to the sky. 3, 2, find a little bit more height if you can. And 1, release all the way down. Whew, nice job. Hands kept back underneath the forehead. Just take a moment here. And in the next breath, let's come all the way back onto our knees. Bring the knees together and we'll just sit on the heels of the feet. Take a moment here, hands on thighs, soft gaze in front of you, or maybe you want to close down your eyes. Allow all the blood to rush back in through your body. Notice the sensations that are happening inside your body. Maybe any thoughts also that might be coming up to the forefront of your mind. Back bends are quite an intense pose for many people, myself included. And you might notice certain thoughts and feelings that come up when you start to bend through your back. And it can feel quite a vulnerable sort of position. But try to accept and acknowledge it. And try to find joy in this opening up of the heart. We have one more back bend coming up. So if you have it in you, come join me. Let's open the eyes. We'll come into our camel pose. Let's bring the hands and the fingertips behind us on the mat, starting off with a more gentle version first. Take a deep breath in. And then start to look up to the sky. Roll the shoulders back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Open through the chest. Puff your chest up to the sky. And then slightly find an arch through your spine. Pressing a bit more weight into your fingertips. Taking your gaze a little bit more behind you. One more breath here. And then coming back up. Head is the last thing to come back in front. Let's hold here just for one breath. And we'll do 2 more. So we can do one more like this with the fingertips behind. And then reaching the head up, puffing the chest up. Or you might like to come up onto your toes, sitting on your heels. So this is the next level up. We'll take the fingertips to the lower back. Take a deep breath in. Gaze upwards. And then start to take your gaze further and further back. Support your lower back with your hands. Press them into your back. Puff up your chest towards the sky. Maybe you drop your head back a little bit further this time. One more breath. And then releasing, bring yourself back up to center. Head comes up last. Hands come to the thighs. All right, let's do one last one together. You can take any variation that we've done already. So sitting all the way down onto the feet or up onto the toes. Or if you want to come into this final version, we're going to lift up with the feet still tucked. So this is here where you want to find that position of pressing the pelvis forward and finding that length through the front of the thighs and the hip flexors. So like the lunge that we did earlier. So let's take the hands to the lower back. Keep pressing the pelvis forward. Deep breath in wherever you are. Turn your gaze towards the sky. Roll the shoulders back. Support your lower back. Press your hands into the back. Press the pelvis forward and then take your gaze further and further back. You might like to at some point take your hands down to the heels of your feet if you find that they're not too far away. And you might even like to drop your head all the way back if that feels comfortable for you. Now I know this doesn't feel comfortable for many people, so keep your head and your gaze upwards if that's better for you. Wherever you are, puff your chest up to the sky. One more breath. On the next breath, slowly start to sit your hips back down. Hands come to your lower back. And then gaze comes forward. Let's untuck the toes. And just sit here for a moment, hands on thighs. Maybe you close down your eyes again. Notice again all the sensations running through your body. Maybe the blood is rushing back through your head, your back, your chest, your legs. Try to enjoy this sensation. And then let's come all the way down into our closed-legged child's pose. Body comes over the thighs, forehead onto the mat. Arms behind with palms facing up, and release your shoulders down. Find full relaxation here as we bend the body the other way in this counter pose. Deep inhales. Expand your belly into your thighs. And long, slow exhales, nice and controlled. Melting further down into the mat. Deep inhale. Long, slow, controlled exhale. Very slowly start to bring your awareness back to where you are on your mat. Notice the parts of your body that are in contact with your mat. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Gently press yourself back up to a seated position. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments below. I would love to know. I hope your chest and your back is feeling really nice and free and open. And if you would like more beginner classes like this and to take your practice to the next level, make sure to check out my 10-day Foundations of Yoga beginner series. This series is designed to help you build up your yoga basics so that you can feel confident in your own practice. And if you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up and also support me by subscribing to my channel so I can continue to give more free yoga videos like this to all of you, and make sure also to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. I will see you next time here on the mat. Namaste.